Welcome back to Also Consider This, the podcast where we think about the world differently.
Today's topic is that we're going to talk about the power of nostalgia.
Cute nostalgia.
Yeah, and I think this topic is also what inspired us of our attire today.
Unlike other episodes, we have an outfit check today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you wearing today?
So, what am I wearing? I'm wearing this. So this outfit is actually inspired. Is a jersey that's inspired by the Italian IT, the German World Cup winning side, the Mannschaft from Italian IT, where they won their third World Cup. Was it third?
I think it's
54?
the third,
the
yeah.
third World Cup. Yeah, so it was inspired. It's not a direct copy of the jersey, but it was an inspired design. And they released this
It's
in
the
2016.
zigzaggy across the chest thing.
So it had the tricolor on
Yeah.
the chest. So
The unified Germany.
yeah.
Yeah. Unified Germany.
No. They were still the West Germany at that time. Yeah.
Oh, 1990?
Yeah, not yet. The World Cup they were still competing as West Germany.
Oh, okay.
I think 91 onwards then they were
Okay, just the quick Google search. The reunification happened in October 1990. So I think it just happened like right after the World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is an interesting topic that we should talk about some other day because Germany as a concept is actually quite new.
Yeah. So what are you wearing?
So today I'm wearing not a reissue. Okay, that's why you see the colors have faded. This is a 1995 Newcastle United kit. It has the granddad collar, so people usually call it the granddad collar shirt, or the Les Ferdinand shirt. Some will call it. There is also one that is blue and red.
That
so
one.
That one was
They
reissued.
also reissued that. Yeah,
There's a sort of hark back last season. So that one is more popularly known as the David Ginola shirt.
Yeah. So I guess this is not your own shirt. I guess
This is my own shirt.
This is your own shirt.
Yes, I got it off eBay
Okay.
I got it off eBay like 15 years ago. So
I see.
something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is not even a retro shirt. This is like proper old shit. Yeah, this is vintage.
Vintage.
Yeah.
Mine is like a egg vintage.
Yeah, no, yours is a money grab.
Yeah.
Mine is grab from the past. Yours is a modern day money grab.
Which I guess kind of is on point of what we want to talk about.
Yeah. So the thing is, part of one of our conversations recently, we started talking about like all these retro stuff and all these reissue things, right? So and it led me to think like there are quite a few things that many companies, big corporations have put out in recent years. And when I say recent years, it's not just the last 5 years. It's like probably the last 10 odd years.
10, 15, I guess, after the 2010s, I guess.
Yeah, so like the PlayStation had some reissue. Then
they redid the PlayStation 1.
There's also a reissue NES.
NES and the SNES.
Yes, Super Nintendo.
Yep.
So they have reissued all sorts of stuff, but Nintendo 64 basically.
Which they are doing it via emulation, which we kind of talked about last week.
But that's not exactly a proper Nintendo 64 from Nintendo, right?
It's a basically software-based kind of thing.
Okay. Then there's also actually a Instagram account that I saw recently in Singapore. So there's this guy who restores vintage jerseys.
Yeah, is it Singapore? I thought I saw something similar to
one
that.
of them is based in Singapore. So there's one Instagram account that I saw that is a dealer for vintage jerseys. So he has even celebrities coming onto his YouTube channel to like point out jerseys. Like there's a David Beckham jersey that points out his shameful 1998 jersey. And then
the one that he kicked.
Yeah, then the kick out one, and then the glorious 2002 jersey.
Yeah.
Things like that. And then there's a Singaporean guy on IG who restores old jerseys. So a problem with old jerseys is some of the stuff so this is stitched.
Yeah, it's embroidered.
Right? Embroidered, right? Like your Adidas flower is embroidered.
Yeah.
But
the logo is also embroidered.
Yeah. But there are some jerseys that don't have that. Some of them are heat transfers.
I think the more modern ones are like heat transfers.
So the heat transfer stuff, some of it fades or drops out. So he actually reprints the logos and stuff.
And then he irons them back on.
Yeah, he cleans it off, and then he reprints the thing on the shirt.
I think similar to that vein, I also saw one guy who does like Pokemon restoration, like Pokemon card restoration. So he has he does it I don't think it gains any value, but it's more for like aesthetics purposes. So they have a rated like 8. So there's like a card rating if you are a real
Yup.
collector. So he like kind of takes all those like not so good rated cards and then he kind of restores them using like chemicals and stuff like that.
Oh, that's new to me.
Yeah.
But I do have some cards, PSA rated. But I did buy a few of them. Like with some of them, I had with the intention of like flipping them eventually. But eventually, I kept the cards that I have.
I think I know that most of the cards they have is like sports and athletes and
So I'm a Michael Jordan fan. My early days, I spent a lot of time watching the Bulls, the Chicago Bulls, like the repeat era. So I have some Michael Jordan cards. I do not have his rookie card because by the time I got into cards, they were like $1 million or something like that. They were
I think the latest figures was like some of his cards, even like the Kobe Bryant ones, are going for like $250,000.
yeah. So there's
something like
stupid
that,
money
yeah.
in there. I don't have any of those. What I do have is I have a Michael Jordan card that is I think 1989 or something like that. It's a slightly later card.
Not his rookie season, so
Not
it's like
it's like 2
I think
seasons later.
okay.
But here's the big but. The image, right, is him doing the All-Star weekend dunk
The dunk.
competition.
The tongue coming out, sticking out.
No, it's the dunk competition. Is where the Air Jordan logo was derived from.
Right.
Yeah, it was the first.
So it's the iconic
yes, it was the dunk.
Jordan logo.
Yeah, the dunk winning competition dunk. That was the image. Yeah, so that one is I think I might have even more than one of those. This whole idea of nostalgia and vintage is quite big. Recent years we had even toys, right? We had Furbies. Furby was reissued. Right.
I know friends who got the was it 20th or 30th anniversary Digimon. Then the Tamagotchi also got
Tamagotchis are also back in
Yeah.
vogue again. And then, so there's a lot of things that have reissued, right? And it's been for the past 10 or so years, at least from our consciousness where we had more power to buy, more economic power to buy things. And now here's my beef with this whole thing. As much as I have some of these things,
Okay.
I also have a beef with these things.
Which is?
My beef with nostalgia or my beef with nostalgic merchandise is that it is also a money trap. So marketing goes hard into it, and the people who make the most out of it are people in suits. People who, nostalgia becomes a big money thing that people in suits get to show results for.
So it's basically like a marketing gimmick.
Marketing is a marketing gimmick that makes real bucks, right? So I did some pulling up on figures on this. Okay, quick ones. Okay, the first one. Now the most obvious one. We are both wearing Adidas shirts. Okay, and Adidas Originals is not a new concept. Adidas Originals came out in the early 2000s, where they revived the flower logo and they reissued shoes from the olden days, right? So first one, even this is like 20 odd years ago when Adidas Originals came out as Adidas Originals. You would have thought that the effect would have died off, but no. Just like in Q2 this year alone, Adidas reported 12% year-on-year revenue growth across the board. Because Adidas,
which is like the most recent concluding quarter.
Yes, the recently concluded quarter, right? 12% growth revenue, but that was also partly powered by Originals growth. So Originals, you have thought that Originals has exploded, but it grew even further. Originals exploded in the past partly because of things like rappers. They managed to get
The superstars, the Stan
yeah,
Smith.
they got themselves culturally relevant as well, right? But the thing is that this thing is not dying down. It's not. I can't even say it's a trend anymore. When it's 20 odd years, you can't say it's a trend, right? And I'm a sucker for it.
Yeah, you own multiple
I'm on my
pairs.
4th pair of superstars. I'm on like 4th or 5th pair of superstars over the years, right? I had Sambas, I had Stan Smith, all that old stuff, right? So that's one point. That's one point of data. The second one is music. So I was thinking about why would I say music? Now in recent years, some bands have reunited. So if you're into British stuff, right? The Stone Roses reunited 10 years ago, big money making success.
Yeah, and links
Recently,
to Manchester.
Manchester, right? Oasis also Manchester, right? The other half, this is my house. There's a giant Oasis banner behind him. That's my poster, right? Now this year they reunited for a tour, right? And the tour revenue is going to be 400 million pounds. All right, and each of the brothers is going to make 50 million pounds each from this tour.
And this is just in UK or the whole
From what I understand, it's their whole tour. So they're going the UK, US, Europe,
Australia?
Australia, Japan, right? So there's a lot of money there, right? And then back to Adidas. Adidas is the official merchandise sponsor for this tour. They paid 20 million pounds into the tour. So there are going to be shirts for sale. There are some people wearing it out there already, right? There's a Adidas stripes with the Oasis logo on the shirt itself. All right. And then, and they are not the only ones. Like a decade ago, I think less than a decade ago, Guns N' Roses also, right? One of the top 10 highest grossing tours of all time, 584 million US dollars. Okay, and then there's also a lot more other examples in that top 10 list. The Rolling Stones in 2005 to 2007, also another top 10 tour, in terms of gross money coming in, right? So with all the other examples of the toys that we're selling and all that, it's all money making. So I feel that in a way, it is a money grab, right? Even like as an Oasis fan, I can tell you that I've heard interviews before where Noel Gallagher said that no, we're not going to come back together. For years they said we're not coming back together.
But then once the money talks, then
No, but he did also say that I would do it for the money.
Okay.
He's a working class guy and he's very honest in saying that if somebody phoned me up and said that I'm gonna write you a big check for doing it again, I might do it. If I'm broke or if I feel like it, I might do it just for the money. Right? So to me it's just a money trap. And I am also a bit afraid. Yes, the concert review so far
has been
quite
not too
positive.
bad, yeah.
Have been quite positive, but I cannot escape the idea that this concert is also a money grab and I'm a sucker. I mean, a willing sucker, but I'm still a sucker paying for it, right? The tickets are $1,000 Sing, which is like or 1,000 Australian or Singapore dollars, right? The
Yeah,
secondary market was crazy as well.
Yeah, because I think we saw like how our Instagram reels like exploded when Oasis did their first few concerts in the UK.
So is to me, is it just all a money grab? And I also feel like I'm a sucker into it lah.
Yep. And I think for that, I also have a counterpoint, which is that I think it's not just money grab alone, but there's a few good factor to it in the sense that I think because right now, a lot of us who are very nostalgic, I think they did do like a report, I think that says like it seems like millennials like us, we are like the most nostalgic generation, and also because we are at such a sweet spot in our life where it's like we have kind of came out into the working world for quite a few years. Then we got a bit of like disposable income. Then when you have that disposable income, then you kind of want to buy certain things, and what you kind of want to buy is not too extravagant, but it is something that like help you remember your childhood, like something I couldn't have when I was young. Then, so now I got the money, I buy lah. So
Yes.
last time I couldn't buy the whole set of the Power Rangers, the Megazord plus the Dragon Zord plus the third whatever thing. Then I can put them together. Then now I can put them together. Then I can put it up.
Yes, I get that because it's childhood trauma. Could afford it, but never got to buy it because I was told to save the money. And since then, I had a lot of trouble trying to save money because like, I save money if I can't. Like if you have a financial objective, right? Once you hit the financial objective, you can't execute and run and pull through the financial objective. What's the point of that, right? And
True.
Yeah, and back to your original point. So there was a meme, right, on TikTok a few years ago, which is now I have access to adult money, which means I can buy whatever I want, which means I end up with buying shit like this. You remember that?
Yeah, I think it was like during COVID.
Yes.
Was it during COVID?
When TikTok exploded as
Yeah.
a social media platform, Then you have people showing off like Power Rangers and Furbies.
I know there are people who went crazy with Legos.
Yes.
One of the most surprising person that I saw, it was like, I think Ed Sheeran was on a Graham Norton show. They shared that, like, yeah, he was buying a gift for his nephew. Then like, they says now he has the money. Then he want to buy the 350 pound like huge Lego set that he couldn't get when he couldn't get when he was young. Then now, oh, I got such a huge amount of disposable income, I'm gonna get that for myself. Then it's like something that we really relate to. Like, yeah.
Yes. So now on that point, right? People of our generation, we are millennials. We will be happy to rebuy things that we had no access to due to one circumstance or another. Right? That's why we are buying things like Legos. Let me put on my old uncle judgmental hat on and say
Okay.
that does it mean that Gen Z and Gen Alpha will be buying Labubus 20 years from now?
So you heard it here first. So we should stock up on Labubus
Stock up
before
on-
they became vintage.
Keep them in the box.
Yeah. So you heard it here first, huh?
Yeah,
So,
keep them in the box. Keep it in the box, right? And then you may have you think you're stupid for paying $2,000 for a Labubu
but it
today.
could skyrocket to like $40,000, like 20 times.
No, it could be worth its weight in gold, right? And then
Yeah, I think I kind of get that, because like, yeah, Gen Zers, they might, but at the same time, I feel the Gen Zs and the Alphas they are not so much into the physical stuff nowadays, because I think for us is that because we were in that transitional period between like the physical stuff and then like the virtual stuff, where like they kind of started like, because we are the generation that
still has
Relate-
analog things.
Yeah.
We still had cassette tapes and CDs.
yeah, which
Please listen to our last episode and
Yeah.
come back here again if
And
you want.
so it kind of plays into that thing where it's like, because it's a analog, it's a physical thing, it's nice to hold. Whereas the Gen Zers and the Gen Alphas may not have that much things that they hold on to. They grew up with like iPads, like with like internet and stuff already. So it's like they may not be as nostalgic to all this.
But
stuff.
that's based on our assumptions of what they have and what we have.
Yeah. And I think currently what I can only speak for is us, which is that we like these things because it reminds us of, at least for me, is that it reminds me of a simpler time.
Okay.
Like, I think for me it's like if I could get my hands onto like the Power Rangers set, right? It just brings me back to like 1996, where it's like, oh, it's like the Power Rangers movie just came out. It's like, oh, it was like Saturday mornings you watch Power Ranger. It brings back memories like this, which is like, it feels.
Let me feed
Good
on that,
lah.
okay? If you want to buy a modern reissue, it's about 150 Singapore dollars. If you were to buy an original vintage, stored in a box, decent condition, it's 350 US dollars.
Which is, it's still
It's still a money grab.
money grab, but it is. I won't say it's a money grab per se, because you're talking about the reissue. The reissue was what,
150.
150. It's close to what it was going for. I remember like
It was 100 Sing dollars back then.
yeah, it was like 89, 90.
No, it was $99.
99.90. Yeah, I still remember 99.90 for the Tiger Zord at that time.
I don't know about the Tiger Zord, but the original Megazord with the five colors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not too far. And if you take into account inflation, okay lah, roughly that. But the vintage one is the one that usually people would want, not really the reissue though. So it's more of not really the money grab, it's more for the collectors. Then you keep, then
And then you put it on the shelf and you never actually play with it. You never actually use
Yeah.
your imagination over it and it just sits there. Then isn't that a bit of a money grab also?
from whose perspective though? It's like money grab from the person who wants
From
to
the guy
sell
who
it.
kept it in the
Yeah lah.
Like if I were to buy like 20 Labubus, ugly as they are today, right? I still think they are damn bloody ugly, right? If I bought 20 Labubus and kept them in my storeroom in a humidity controlled environment away from the sun and take it out 20 years from now, right? Isn't that a money grab from me?
But Yes, but it's at least it's okay. It's a person who had some passion or some knowledge of that
The person who's buying from me, or
the
the person who probably kept it for real legit reasons.
the I think both,
Okay.
because like to even start to think that okay, like 20 years down the road this could be valuable, you kind of love for that thing. What? Like for example, I talk about Power Rangers, for example. So it's like I have some interest in Power Rangers. That's why I would choose to keep it at that time. If I had no idea of what Power Rangers could be, then there's no point for me to keep and like store. And these things are not physical items nowadays are not like small. These things are not small, you know. It's like take up quite a bit of space on it.
They do take up space, although they're still smaller than a handbag. They hang off a handbag. Yeah, I'm just being judgmental about Labubus. I think they're ugly as fuck. First
Okay.
F-bomb on our podcast.
But yeah, anyway, so coming back to the thing, so it's like I feel it's like it's not really a money grab if let's say you are it's not the corporation, let's say I'm the one collecting, then I feel at the right time I may have to let go of it, or somebody else wants to let go of it because they feel that yeah, I want to pass on this thing to someone else who has a who wants to enjoy that toy or that thing that I also enjoyed when I was
I can only understand it intellectually but not emotionally, because I can say the same thing of old Power Rangers models.
yeah.
But not for Labubus.
Yeah, but I think the only other thing that I feel that you keep for money grab is more of, I would say, like let's say Pokemon cards. I think nowadays I I don't have first hand information, but I spoke with friends who play cards and stuff like that. Even like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, like a lot of the stuff, unless you kept your collection since like our secondary school days or our primary school days, most of the time nowadays, everything for that would be a cash grab already. What? Like the scalpers and everything has like jacked it up to crazy amount of prices lah. That
Yes.
one, and those are not like old cards. The old cards, yes, but there are also reissues that end up becoming similar price. There's like a
Which
stock
leads
market
me
kind of
which
thing.
leads me to my original point, right? It's a cash grab.
For some things, yes, but for some things, I feel it is there's a real nostalgic factor
Okay.
of that.
I see some of the points. I do see some of the arguments that you made.
I think there is some legit reasons that we enjoy these things. It's not just of our generation. If let's say we zoom out a little bit and we go back to the past, comic books has been collected for generations and people have kept it, and nostalgia has always been there. It's just that we are a bit more, I guess, because of the internet and like eBay and like all these online platforms that people can sell. I think it makes it more accessible for people to do that. But previously, people were also suckers for nostalgia, where like they paid. I don't know. There's like Sotheby's or some auction houses did like auctions for like what the first edition of like Marvel comics and whatever. Then there are people who really went there to buy it, and it's not a it's never a cash grab because Marvel don't reissue their at least from my knowledge, like Marvel DC don't reissue their comics. Yeah, but there's like a secondary market.
Okay,
And
I get you. So as you are saying it, I went to Google it. It says here, I went to Google Sotheby's. I put Sotheby's Marvel Comics, and I have one example here. So for the first Amazing Spider-Man #3, it was published in 1963. Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, right? It's the first appearance of the Human Torch and Doctor Octopus, right? And that copy, graded 7 out of 10, sold for 16.7K US dollars for the first appearance of Doc Ock.
yeah, so there is some precedence to this idea that yeah, it's not just a money grab because Marvel didn't and didn't participate in this whole thing. It was from a collector who sold it on, and then somebody else who sees the value of it bought it. But of course,
So like some
sometimes
kid left it in the bedroom, and then the mom took it out and then put it in the garage sale,
yeah,
and then it moved on, changed a few hands, and
which
ended
is
up.
kind of what's the guy's name that he flips the garage.
Oh, Gary V. Yeah,
Yeah, so he does
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's also like part of the reason why cards in general, trading cards, blew up in
Yeah.
COVID, because people had spare money and they want to buy things, and they saw investment opportunity in that
Yeah.
which
So
which gives me that slightly cynical view of things, to be honest.
if if I guess cynical, I kind of also see your side of the story where it's like that cynical and like, yeah, like, is he really into this? Because the Pokemon trading card scene right now is kind of like that,
Yeah.
where I mean TikTok has many. If you go on TikTok and you see Singapore, like once the restock comes in like Metro, I think it was a Causeway Point outlet. Then got one uncle come in with like the IKEA, the that blue color
The big
result.
gigantic
Then he
bag.
just go there and just then before the staff had to like start to restrict, like, oh, everybody can only buy 2 packs. So like, yes, so I get you in a sense that like it's like a it's like a feedback loop where it's like, yeah, the corporations want to earn, then the people want to like, some people also see it as
Scalping
scalping
opportunities.
opportunities and stuff like that, and that kind of plays along with it lah. But other than trading cards, the rest of the other stuff I feel is still relatively like sanitized in that sense. But when it comes to like reissues, then I have some problems with it.
What's with that?
In a sense, like for example, the jerseys, right? Like I have some problems, but yet at the same time, I'm a sucker for it. So that one, like what you said about Oasis, like you are a willing sucker. So to me, like part of the thing was like I think this season 25, 26, the Man United third kit, which I think they're gonna wear it for the first time this weekend, the black color one. So that one is inspired by
So yeah, I mentioned the David Ginola kid, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be the Eric Cantona kid, because he kicked somebody,
Yeah.
roundhouse kicked somebody in that jersey.
in the Crystal Palace, yeah. Then he
Yes.
got banned for 10 months. That kid,
When the
that very
seagulls
iconic,
follow
yeah.
the trawler.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when it comes to like big corporations, then yes, then sometimes I'm a bit more like wary. But at the same time, because it taps into like a part of my head, right? That like, wow, it reminds me of the like Eric Cantona, like that iconic shot, like that color, then like and the look of the thing in itself is really not bad. Like the design, it's modern, but yet it has a vintage look, which like kind of like, yeah, like, okay, I'm a willing sucker, I'm gonna pay for it. I think it's the same. I would think that it's the same feeling that you get when you go for Oasis gig. Right? It's not purely the cash grab, but you also have some pure nostalgia, untainted.
Yes. I mean, this is the point that I was thinking about, despite my perspective of it being a cash grab. I also have this perspective that, because life is hard, especially at least for soft millennials, life is hard. We are trying to cope, right? And there's the evidence of us trying to cope is not just on buying nostalgic things. So I give you evidence. One of the toy shops in the UK, right, stated that a lot of adults were buying Lego, as you mentioned earlier. A lot of adults were buying Lego and Lego set toys, because because Lego is a huge brand, and then soft toys is also another one. So there are more and more people carrying stuffed toys, and it's no longer as shameful for an adult to hold a stuffed toys. You see people hanging stuffed toys off their bags and things like that, right? Because we are trying to find softer things in life, and we're trying to cope. And the nostalgia is part of that coping mechanism.
Which I kind of want to add on to that point, because I think because we have reached an age where some has disposable income. I think also is that a lot of millennials right now they have reached like they have become parents themselves. So like buying some of this nostalgia is not just it's not just for themselves, but let's say I buy a Lego set. If I have a kid, it's like part of me sharing my childhood and going back to like having my inner child share that joy with my own children as my offsprings as well lah.
On that point, I agree with you on that because we have also heard stories, online stories of a father who is probably in their 30s today in the 2000s, so someone born in the 80s, late early 90s, have a kid come up to them with like a few Pokemon cards, and then the dad drags out his old
Whole like binder then like,
of yes, and it's like I have the same thing too, and then let's talk about this, and
it's a way of connecting lah.
yes, and then there is and I would say that actually this nostalgic trend or nostalgic pattern helps in terms of connecting generations. I think one thing that is one resolution that comes out of this is that the current millennial generation of parents, there's a chance that they are better connected to their children in terms of pop culture and all that, because there are more similarities between these two generations than prior generations.
But if you take the cynical point of view, then it could also because corporations kind of
Yeah,
got
the
into
corporations are there.
winning.
The corporations are there to sell shit lah.
Yeah lah. They
right?
got into a winning formula. They know this. Then like generation down generation they can sell lah.
Niantic is now called the Pokemon company.
Yeah.
How much more corporate can it get? Right.
I think Niantic is a separate company. Yeah.
Okay, but yes, there is that. But the Pokemon company exists. So
yeah, the fun fact about the Pokemon company it is I think it's a partnership between Game Freak and Nintendo. So the Pokemon company don't just release the games, they release the plushies, they release the cards, and they also release they also own the Pokemon centers throughout the various
like
locations.
Japan,
Singapore, I think US and Hong Kong and something like that. So it's like
and also not to be confused with Nintendo.
yeah.
Because remember there was a time where Pokemon Go exploded and Nintendo stock went up because the whole world thought that because people in suits were stupid and didn't know that Nintendo didn't own Pokemon even though Pokemon was on the Game Boy.
They own 30%.
Yeah, but they don't own all of it.
Yeah.
And then it shot up.
Yeah.
And then after that, a few days later, people were like, hey, you guys know that this is not the same company, right? And then it sort of went down after that. It sort of softened after that. Yeah. But back to the point. I think if you are not ashamed as an adult, you're not ashamed at looking at your things that you liked as a kid, then actually it's one, there's nothing to be ashamed of. And second, it allows you more connection to people who of a younger generation. There are Gen Zs
similar talking points. Yeah.
Like there are Gen Zs who wear football jerseys from the early 2000s.
The vintage stuff it's also making a comeback.
Yeah,
like
in that
marketplaces
in that case,
and stuff like that.
it allows, surprisingly, it allows more cultural connection between generations. And I think that's a good thing because there's always been downward shit talking from one generation to the next, right? The boomers say that the millennials are soft. Then the millennials who are now bosses say that their Gen Z people are soft. And then eventually the Gen Zs, right, would think that they are them big shot and then say that the Gen Alphas or Gen Betas are soft. And then it will complain upwards also. So the Gen Alphas and the Gen Zs will complain.
So one day we'll be like the boomers lah.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's there's nothing new there, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing novel about it. It's all clickbait. That's my feel of it. But I think what it does is that it allows some sort of cultural connection between the different generations.
True, right? I see that, and especially I think if you're a parent, it really helps you bridge the gap to really get to know and
Clarification: we are not parents.
Yeah, we are not
We will
parents.
bring a parent in at some point into our show.
Yeah.
We have
So-
someone in the wings waiting, but he's just too busy. So
Yeah.
he actually has a topic for us, but he has a topic that he wants to talk about, but TBC, right?
Yeah, so yeah, because I do see it with friends who are parents, and then they like I think even very simple like playing Uno. So it's like they bought a Uno card game, then they played with their kid. Then they said, yeah, this is what I played when I was in primary school. So their kid right now are in primary school, then they play Uno. So it's like it is
I mean, yes, there's that is as again is a cultural like bringing
Yeah lor, so-
the cultural aspect of bringing people together. Now I need to go on a rant because you raised the point of Uno. Now, I recently played a Uno on a new modern deck, and it's damn annoying.
because
There are very very few draw 4 and draw 2 cards in the deck. So
okay,
that
technically-
is damn annoying.
yeah,
I tell you why.
but-
I tell you why it's so
okay,
annoying.
go ahead, go
Because
ahead.
part of the fun of
Is to
playing
stack
Uno
all these things
is
together.
to stack. Draw like 20 cards. You just need to have one poor fella, right, to draw 20 cards, right, and then have his hand not able to hold the cards together.
But technically speaking, if you actually play by the actual rules from
Who
Uno,
cares about the actual rules? The new deck doesn't have enough draw 4s. And to make things worse, there's this thing called it's like a shuffle card.
yeah,
So one guy, because it's one card in the deck, right? Someone can take out a card and lay it on. And basically, if you were on 2 cards and somebody has 20 cards, basically the whole pile goes in, everybody equalizes. It's an equalizer card.
which feels very
Which is damn annoying, but not as annoying as having to draw 20 cards at a go. So basically, they put a more annoying annoyance that has very little fun for everybody. Because in the game, come on, Uno is basically it's a masochistic game where basically you're trying to sabo the next person, right? And having to draw 20 is
Not very nice.
not very nice, but it's inflicted on one poor fella. And having one poor victim is funny for everybody. But when everyone's a victim, right, it's not that fun.
yeah.
It's only fun for that one person, right, who caused the shuffle. So this is my rant on Uno. So Uno vintage deck is better, it's more fun. So I should go and buy a Uno vintage deck.
I think you can buy like
Up the consumerism.
the original deck though, yeah. But
They don't need original, just an older deck.
Yeah.
Because there are more +2, draw 2 and draw 4
no,
cards.
because right now the Uno thing is a bit confusing because there's like different types of decks actually. Because they have like the Uno flip, then the Uno don't know what, then yeah. So yeah, I think you have to be careful with that. Yeah, but I get your point in the sense that like yeah, even though yes, if we have the capability and we don't have to be ashamed of being nostalgic, but at the same time, like what I think the previous point that you brought up was that yeah, we shouldn't end up like, oh, because I got so much disposable income, I just keep buying.
I mean, what you're trying to say is that don't fall too much into the consumerism
Yeah,
side of
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Just
Which-
buying stuff for the sake of it.
Which I kind of get it. I am guilty of it lah. Like sometimes like you see
We all are. That's why
Yeah.
that's the reason why I had the beef of it being calling it a money grab for the
Yeah.
people involved, right? Because there's so much money involved, therefore I feel it's a cash grab and it's a consumerism thing, that someone's profiting out of it.
I think like what you said, as long as we are a little bit more aware, because I think more or less we would have encountered this. Like sometimes we see it's like it looks nice. It reminds me of that time. But then after the moment they buy it already, you have it in your grasp. Then it actually
No, it sparks joy at the moment, right, when you bought it. And then 2 weeks later when you see it again, it doesn't spark joy.
yeah lah. That's why there's so many old NES Classic and the SNES Classic and the PS1 Classic on Carousel.
Yeah, it's just lying around.
Yeah. Because people buy then put in a box. Then like
I
actually-
moved house and it's not even here yet.
yeah.
It's still in my parents' house because it's like because it's actually quite rubbish. It's like supposed to be like 12 games, right? But none of the games are actually okay. Maybe 1 or 2 games you actually play.
Yeah,
But the rest of it is like it's not Nintendo.
it's more like you buy the thing, then it looks
It looks cute. And then you put it in a, if you have a YouTube channel for games, right? Then you got like, say you're talking.
Yeah,
you're
then
talking
just put it
about,
at the back of your thing.
yeah,
Then
you're
while
playing the
talking
Switch
ahead,
2
then
all
it's
the
like,
time, right? But actually, in behind you got, you have a
up your street cred. Yeah, they say I'm a geek, I'm a retro gamer.
yeah. But actually, the last 10 videos are all Switch 2 video reviews.
Yeah,
Yeah, so just don't fall too much into consumerism, lah.
that's all about the nostalgia, and I think it's also quite cathartic to talk about it. Like, wow, it brings back a lot of memories. Yeah.
Like hiding Pokemon cards in the school kind of thing, in the idea, in the head.
Yeah, and last thing about the nostalgia is that the reissued 3310 not as nice as the old one.
Because it doesn't cause physical harm if you throw
When
it
you
across the classroom.
you drop it, the concrete floor won't crack.
It doesn't.
not like-
If your teacher threw it back at you in the classroom, you wouldn't get blunt force trauma.
Yeah.
You know, that's why that's why millennials are built tougher than Gen Zs.
Hey, I'm not here to start a generational war here. We just spoke about like bringing generations together. Then now you try to tear it apart.
It's more fun. It's more fun sometimes. Next segment.
I think we have always concluded it with what we have learned recently, or what we have learned today rather.
So recently, I heard about the word, the origins of the word religion. Right. So it's quite interesting to me because of you think of when I say the word religion, I think the first idea that I previously had in my mind when I say the word religion, temples with Buddhas inside, people walking in with joysticks, or a Christian or Catholic church.
A chapel, which we
Yeah.
used to have it in school.
Yeah, you have a cross, you have somebody wearing a robe, things like that. People, and people going in, coming out, that kind of thing. Prayer, things like that. But
More or less here and
but
there
here's the
lah.
interesting thing. So one of the origins of the word religion comes from the Latin word religare. All right, and the meaning of it is to bind or to tie. Okay, it's really bringing things together. Now, one of the theories is that the word religion came from this word religare, from Latin, right? And it's quite interesting to me because it's explained in two forms. The first one is a coming together of man and their higher power. I'm not a religious person. It's between a man and a higher power, the sacred, right? That's the first one. And the second one is actually more interesting to me, which is the binding of a community. Like the coming together, right? Because it's religare is coming together, tying together, right? So what is interesting to me is the coming together of a people. Religare, right?
Which kind of seems to be more.
It's more pertinent in my case.
Yeah.
In today's case, like what really sort of set me thinking was that we always think about religion as people with the same beliefs coming together, but I also was thinking about it. It's like actually religions, regardless of religion, I think there's also people with positive thoughts, regardless of the religion, want to come together as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Whatever religion in that you practice, there is some form of community involved.
but it's not just that, but it's also like unit, like some sort of harmony with other groups, which I think this idea is very kumbaya, but the idea of like different communities as well. The thought of, because if I believe that if everyone thinks good and does good, then regardless of your choice of faith, there is a unity regardless of your faith. Yeah, so that's my thought of the day. And then I googled it a little bit. There's also another one which is the religare, right? So ligare is also the root for the word ligament. So ligaments are basically the
connective tissues
that binds your
bones and muscles together.
Yeah, so that's also it's also a concept of bringing things together. So your ligaments put your bones and your muscles together to form your body parts.
So
Yeah.
religion is a coming together of people.
Yeah.
And
So what do you learn recently, or what do you learn today?
I think it's something that it's quite familiar, and talking about nostalgia is it's a brand from our childhood, which is a Bata shoes.
Buy and throw away.
Yeah. So if you were to ask most people, it's like, where do you think Bata originated? I think quite a common answer that a lot of people answer is that, could it be from like Malaysia
It's
or
from
like
JB.
JB or like Indo, like near our neighbors and stuff like that. But what I found out was that Bata is actually it has Moravian roots, which is modern day Czech Republic. So it is
What's Moravian again?
Czech Republic, Moravia,
How do you spell that?
Moravia.
Okay.
Moravia, which is modern day Czech Republic. They were part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire during before World War One.
Oh, so Moravia is it's actually like it's now like a region, a cultural region of the Czech Republic.
So they were started by this guy called Thomas Bata, which is why the brand is called Bata, because it's the guys. They were cobblers for generation. Then they I think when they expanded in the 1920s, they had some diversification. They went into energy industry and agriculture, forestry, newspaper publishing, brick manufacturing, wood processing, rubber, yada yada yada. Like they had like so many like other corporations, but then in the end, I think they end up focusing on shoes. They were known for shoes. They were also blacklisted during World War II for dealing with the Axis powers. They were put on blacklist in Britain and in US because Bata himself, I think the successor, Jan Antonin Bata, which is I think the brother, then he kind of aligned himself with the Axis powers, and then they were connected to Auschwitz in some sense. So kind of got dark that way. Like we didn't even know that like our childhood shoe is associated with World War II.
Well, if you ever like driven a VW, a VW or a BMW, you know.
This is gonna go, yeah.
You know,
So-
or you know Porsche.
Yeah, Ferdinand Porsche, yeah.
You know. Yeah, dark histories lah.
Yeah, so
or Mitsubishi even.
I think today they are considered a Swiss company because they are headquartered in Lausanne.
Maybe for tax reasons, you never know.
Yeah. So this is what I learned. So it's quite interesting that who knew that your childhood school shoes
But check.
has links to World War II.
Interesting.
So yeah, I guess that's all for Act 3, and we'll be back again next week.
Yeah. Thank you very much for listening to us again.
And if you could give us a like
A like, a
and a
subscribe.
subscribe.
Yes, and the most important is please share with at least one person who you think is interested in what we are doing, right? One big thing that I sort of realized in Act 2, because after Act 2, I actually did a bit of posting around, sharing around. I know you did more of that on the first one onwards. I did it on the second one because I felt that the first one wasn't.
It was kind
It
of
was
raw.
it was experimental, right?
Yeah.
But Act 2 was more thought out, and I started sharing it. But then I realized actually I shouldn't share so maybe once or twice, but not too much. Because ultimately, as much as we love our friends and family, and our friends and family love us, interests are not always exactly the same. But if you know of somebody who is interested in general knowledge and trivia, things like us, and likes to go beyond just knowing the trivia, but also think about things,
You can.
add them in, right? I think if they enjoy it, hopefully you or your friend or your whoever you know can comment. Start a
subreddit.
No, we don't have a Reddit yet.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
we can have a discussion in the comments or something, right?
Yeah, and you can feel free to reach out to our IG
Yes,
page
so
as well.
just comment on our IG, comment on our Facebook, even comment on our Spotify if you're listening to us on Spotify.
Yeah.
Um,
If you didn't know by now that Spotify has a comment section.
Yes, I was very surprised when I first saw the comment on the.
Oh,
I
I knew
didn't
about
even
it because
know.
I was listening to the athletic podcast and they started
I
having.
didn't even know. If in fact a friend of mine commented and then said I commented why you didn't like it. No, I didn't say anything
Oh, I
about it.
didn't know
Then I was
that.
like, oh, I didn't know that existed.
Okay, yeah. So we are on IG, we are on YouTube, and we are on Spotify. So
Yes. Please join us for Act 4. Thank you
yep.
very much. See you soon.
See you soon.